welcome to a live stream. This is going to be free tarot reading questions, yes or no only. We haven't done one like this, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just organizing my cards. I have so many decks in front of me, you guys. Which reminds me, some announcements. If you're on the community page, we just started an eBay store that will continue to grow. Right now we have some vintage one-of-a-kind decks, so if you're interested in collecting tarot and oracle cards, go ahead and check that out. It's called the Third House Market. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Allie. I'm a tarot reader and intuitive coach for the last 6 years. If you're curious on how I became a reader and my awakening story, go ahead and check out my other playlists. We're just gonna wait for people to enter the room. Please like, share, and subscribe. Double tap to like the video, helps the algorithm. Especially because I've been on at random. No schedule, just hopping on when spirit calls to me. Sometimes my focus gets pulled elsewhere because that's where it needs to go. It is what it is, right? I think eventually we'll get on like somewhat of a schedule, but the King of Wands popped out. I know you can't see it, but hilarious. Hilarious considering what I'm talking about. Does anybody have a question? Yes or no questions only. Free question lives is a good way to get to know me as a reader and get to know other people in the chat. I do have a couple moderators and I am looking more for a team. So if I see you on here consistently, I might make you a moderator. Please be respectful to everyone in the chat or I will block you. Low tolerance for BS. One second while we wait for people. Does anyone have a yes or no question? Hi, Jackson Sports Cards. Hi, Jackson. If you're interested in sports cards, have you seen the eBay store? Are you interested in tarot cards as well? We sold one. I think there's like 6 or 7 more, and I still have a bunch in front of me that has not been listed yet. They are amazing. It honestly kind of hurts my heart. I was like, I just want to hold on to them, but they're meant for a different home, apparently. Jackson Sports Cards. Do you have a yes or no question? Kind of wanted to test out and see if this was a good time to jump on. So we'll see if we stay on the live until we get some action in the chat. What can we do while we're waiting? What are some messages for the collective that Spirit wants me to talk about? That kind of stuck towards me. Let's see. I'm looking at books. Sometimes Spirit will ask me to pull a book on the shelf. Hi, Ymir, the god of chaos. Welcome. Let's see. While we're waiting for people to enter the room, let's find a collective message. Really? This is what you wanted me to grab? Well, this is like, it's hard to just jump into this page, which is usually how I operate, but the book is called Life Beyond Life. And the chapter is Reincarnation, Memories, and Children. Fascinating. I actually have a lot of stories about my kids where they've said or done blah, blah. Gosh, Mercury retrograde is kicking my ass, per usual. I get tongue-tied so bad, you guys. I have like a lot of karma and communication, and I'm working on it. So thank you for giving me grace. Anyway, my kids have done and said some weird things that relate to a past life, even before I started like studying these things. Hi, Lynchstone 555. We are doing free tarot reading questions, yes or no. But everybody is shy. I tend to have like a lot of observers, a lot of wallflowers. Hi, Anne. Welcome in. All right, let's scan through. Mrs. H.P. Zeschang of Ohio is now well into her 80s. When she was a little girl, she frequently broke into tears and asked to go see her other parents. This was a repeated occurrence, and the child at the time insisted that she wanted to go back to the parents she knew. Eventually, I'm telling you guys, eventually the desire faded as the child grew older. But to this day, Mrs. Zeschang can draw a picture of her previous home and its surroundings and the little girl she used to be, connected with this very strong feeling of having lived in the Old South. I can't drive through certain portions of the South without looking for the one I used to live in, Mrs. Zeschang explained. Also, one day I was standing on our porch looking out, enjoying the trees, when all at once I was standing in the doorway of a little log cabin, looking across a tiny clearing at a primeval forest and smelling the fragrance of the trees. It was a brief flash, and then I was back on my own porch. Ordinary memories fade in time, and so it is not surprising that reincarnation memories might also fade as time goes on. It is therefore rather interesting to study the cases of young children who have such memories, which in later life will disappear from their unconscious minds. A good case in point was brought to my attention recently by Mrs. Carol Hardin in Montana. Mrs. Hardin lives with her husband, who works in one of the local mines. She is an art student by correspondence, and they are people in the middle income bracket. Ordinary people, I would say, living in an 8-year-old country house. They have 4 children, 9, 7, 4, and 3 years of age, representative of an average middle class family. Can I read today? Mrs. Hardin has a crippling condition that prevents her from writing in longhand. Other than that, there really isn't anything extraordinary about them. There is, however, a great deal to be said about one of their children, Brenda, aged 4. Nothing very special happened with little Brenda until Good Friday of 1969. On that day, Brenda sat up, awakening from a sound sleep, and started to talk about a previous life. She had spent the night in the home of Mrs. Hardin's sister, Mrs. Perry. I have lived in this country before, the little girl said, in the South in a big white house. She then went to describe it as having a big porch with white pillars and a big green lawn. She referred to a pet horse named Hooper John that seemed rather fond of Her aunt asked her if there was any other children. Yes, the little girl said, a lot of darkies. She spoke with a strong accent, apparently French, and even gave her name, which was also a French name. Her aunt couldn't even pronounce it. Finally, the little girl added, but I died. Her aunt thought she had misunderstood and asked what she had said. I died, the little girl repeated somewhat impatiently. I fell off my horse, Hooper John, when I was 16 and died. She then lay back down and went to sleep. The little girl's uncle, Mr. Perry, who was present throughout this amazing conversation, attributed to all the child's lively imagination, but the following morning the aunt asked again to Brenda when she woke. Present this time with her daughter Sharon, age 14. Together the two questioned the little girl further. Did she live on a farm when she lived down south? Of course not, the little girl said. It was a plantation. She then went on to describe how they raised tobacco, speaking of cutting the tobacco in sheaves. When asked what it looked like, she said, like crumpled tobacco. Brenda then repeated the same account she had told for the first time the previous night. She spoke of a fire wagon, described a firebox and the purpose it served, but as the day wore on, she forgot about this, being, after all, only 4 years old. By evening, she had completely forgotten the incident. However, a few days later, she referred to a toy horse as Hooper John. Just for a moment, finally saying, "Oh no, you're not my Hooper John," she put the toy down and has not spoken of it ever since. Now, this is an extraordinary thing for a 4-year-old girl to use phrases, language, and information rarely, if ever, possessed by someone that young. Especially so since Brenda had no occasion to visit the South or to learn about the tobacco business. At age 4, most children do not read books, nor has Mrs. Harden read any such stories to her at any time. Isn't that interesting? Hi, Kiku Ann. I am not married. I am divorced. And those stories are on my playlist. Hi, Healing Heart 77. Does anybody have a yes or no tarot reading question? We just jumped into a book for a collective message, and apparently they wanted to talk about reincarnation memories in children. That's interesting. I think you've been in the chat before, right? Should we just continue with the book since no one has a question? You guys let me know. Well, I guess that begs me to ask you guys, has anybody experienced this before themselves with other family members, or if you're a parent? Epically epic. Thank you. Yes, I agree. It's a very interesting topic. When my oldest son, he's 17 now, when he was about toddler age, I think 2 to 4, he used to say the craziest things. I remember one time, out of nowhere, he said, "Fire in the valley." And it was almost like he was like literally experiencing wartime. And I was like, what is going on? And then like when I tried to bring up the topic again, it was like he forgot. I was like, interesting. I would say that was like one of the main weird ones I've experienced. Has anyone done past life regression? Highly recommend. Especially if you have like motivations and fear around certain things that you don't understand. Sometimes past life regression can be helpful for that. No, just people watching, not interacting. Okay. Let's continue on with the book. All right, chapter 10, The Perfect Case of Reincarnation, Scotland, 1600. One day in October of 1967, I was going through my fan mail, which had been piling up for a few weeks. I get about 300 to 400 letters a week from readers all over the country, and even from abroad, and I could not devote as much time to these letters as I wish I could. But on this brisk October morning, I felt compelled to go over the mail and to try to pick out the most urgent letters for an immediate reply. Somehow, my hands picked up a letter from Harvey, Illinois. It looked just like any other letter that I might get from a reader, but I proceeded to open it and read it. I read it 3 times, and then I wondered what had made me open this particular letter out of all hundreds that lay on the desk that morning. Dear Mr. Hauser, I am writing to you about an experience which may not really mean anything. I have seen what looks like a Scottish girl standing at the foot of my bed 3 times. I don't know if she actually talked to me, but after I'd seen her, these words keep coming back to me. Castle, Perch, or Perth, Ruthven, Cowrie, 16, and Towers. Also something which sounds like a burn night. I've never mentioned this to anyone, but they probably would not believe me. If you can make anything out of this, I would appreciate it if you would let me know. Pamela Wollenberg. What puzzled me about this short letter was the fact that the words mentioned by Miss Wollenberg had no immediate meaning for either. It didn't sound like the usual ghost story or the usual psychic experience relating simply to something left behind in the atmosphere of a particular room or house. It didn't sound like an ordinary dream either, since Miss Wollenberg was not precise in mentioning what appeared to be place names. I was intrigued by her letter, and I wrote back requesting additional information, asking her whether she could remember any more details about this girl or any further communications from her. The lady from Harvey, Illinois, answered my letter immediately. I had asked her whether there were any witnesses to the experience she had reported in her first letter, but apparently there weren't any since she was asleep at the time. I have no witnesses to the Scottish girl I see because no one else sees her. The girl I see seems to have red hair and seems to be very elegantly dressed with a long white gown and a gold braid. I saw her the other night. It seems she said to me the word Hansel. It seems as though she's lost. She keeps saying Reuven, Gorey, 1600, 2 Towers. She also said Glamis Angus. She also said Ileat. I don't remember I have any Scottish background, but it's possible because on my mother's side, they are all English. On my father's side, they are all German. I do not know if I have ESP, but I seem to see things before they happen. I hope this will help you. Sincerely, Pamela Wollenberg. The matter rested there for a while, but I was determined to go to Scotland in the future and investigate this material. It meant nothing to me at the time, but I knew some research historians in Scotland and thought maybe perhaps they might be able to shed some light on the mysterious words of Miss Wollenberg's letters. We had no further correspondence until I was able to go to Scotland in the summer of 1969. I took the 2 letters with me, although I didn't really know where to begin to search. One of my dearest friends as a writer named Elizabeth Bird, author of Immortal Queen, A History of Mary, Queen of Scots, who then resided in the Scottish Highlands. I thought that perhaps Elizabeth could shed some light on the material I was bringing along with me. She read the 2 letters but could not offer anything concrete except the promise to look into it further. We were luncheon guests of Mr. and Mrs. Maurice Simpson at their castle in the northeastern Scotland called Muchalis. The occasion was a casual invitation of the Simpsons to visit their castle because of a possible haunted room. It turned out that there was no such room, but the Simpsons were amiable people whose hospitality we enjoyed. For no reason in particular, I mentioned my letters from the lady in Harvey, Illinois, wondering whether Mrs. Simpson had some idea as to the meaning of those letters. To my amazement, Mr. Simpson caught on immediately and seemed to remember a legend or a story involving a maiden's leap in one of the castles in Scotland. You mean there is something to this? I said, getting more and more interested. Evidently, fate had destined us to come to Michalis. Muchals? I know I'm not saying that right. Not because of a haunted room, but because of a link supplied by the owner, leading me to an understanding of what Miss Wallenberg's letter was all about. I think I have a guidebook here, a book dealing with Scottish castles. Let me look for it. A few minutes later, he returned, triumphantly holding what seemed to be a slender booklet. The booklet was called Hunting Tower Castle and was the work of J.S. Richardson, formerly Inspector of Ancient Monuments of Scotland. Hunting Tower Castle is now under the supervision of the Ministry of Public Building and Works. As I leaped through this book, I realized that we had discovered the key to Pamela Wallenberg's strange dream and vision. Interesting. Well, any, I don't know, stories or questions in regards to what we just read? Let's read the back of the book. Dr. Hans Holzer explores all these psychic phenomena as evidence of reincarnation. Recurrent dreams, deja vu, transmigration, regression hypnosis, ESP, astral projection, karma, destiny encounters, soulmates, what happens between incarnations, how to prove previous lives, reincarnation memories in children, the scientific view of reincarnation, the religious view of reincarnation. He also explores such fascinating true case stories as The Many Lives of a Connecticut Lady, the reincarnation of Atlanta Bell, the strange case of the two Catherines, the eerie case of a Scottish lass from 1600. Hans Holzer was a writer-producer of the NBC series In Search Of, 1976 to 77, and a number of television documentaries dealing with psychic experiences. He is an author of more than 80 books, including ESP and You, Ghost Hunter, Where the Ghosts Are, Best True Ghost Stories, and Murder in Amityville, which became the basis of the motion picture Amityville 2, The Possession. Anyone seen that movie? And writes regularly for the National Examiner and many national magazines. Dr. Holzer was educated at Columbia University and the University of Vienna and holds a PhD from London College of Applied Science. He has taught parapsychology for 8 years at a New York Institute of Technology and is listed in Who's Who in America. Wow, that was fascinating. I actually kind of want to read the whole book because I haven't. Just something we randomly grabbed. Hello, Jazzy Bella 87. We've been here for 23 minutes. Thank you for the likes. Please like, share, and subscribe. Does anybody have a yes or no tarot question today? Or did I get that wrong? All right, if there's at least one person out there that needs a message today, let it be you. What's your question? Yes, we are doing yes or no questions, but if I feel called to go in depth, I will. Jazzy Bella, 87. Will the person on my mind break silence soon? Thank you. Let's look. I guess you can't look, but I appreciate you guys being open to these kind of videos, because sometimes it's better if I'm not so distracted during lives. Lives are hard, okay? Give your tarot readers on YouTube some credit. TikTok and Instagram. Like, gosh, lives are so hard. I'll never forget when I first started doing them with Doug. And I was like, man, I am so drained after. I'm hungry. I need to take a nap. Show me Jazzy Bella's person. Will they break the silence soon? Show me Jazzy Bella. got the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Wands. Will there be a break of silence? I'm getting the feeling of social media or seeing you out. Eight of Pentacles, the Tower, Ten of Cups. Tell me more about this Tower. Page of Pentacles, yes. The answer is yes. Social media or out? Listen, Linda. Annie Ket 12421. Destrada, love me. We are in a relationship 1 year and it's complicated. Show me Destrada love and Pet 12421. What are his feelings towards her? Nine of Wands. It's complicated, or it's completed, not complicated. Oh, I'm sorry. Mercury retrograde. Welcome. I'm sorry, my phone is like 3 feet away from me. Have you ever done a live before? Have you guys ever done a live before? Do you know how to do tarot readings for people? Because it's not easy. Show me the feelings. Page of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck. I'm saying, people like... Ay, Dios mío. Knight of Pentacles. I wouldn't call this love. I would say there's some kind of devotion and loyalty, but this person being in the Five of Swords energy is like winning at all costs. There's also a message about a reflection on a father wound between you and this person. And that's apparently the spiritual lesson. She said, we are in a relationship 1 year completed. Mean. Healing hearts, don't let them. I know, I have audience karma, and so I welcome it in because karma just needs to be worked out. I'm really curious on like Tyler's Tarot's audience karma. You know what I'm saying? Because, oh my gosh, the people he gets in the chat, he works it to his advantage. And I'm just like, I don't know how you deal with it. So it was a yes? Okay. See, I have a Cassandra curse, and so my audience is very specific. If you did not hear that answer, I really don't know what to tell you. So you might want to rewatch what I said. You're a guy? Okay. I only read energy, not gender. Question, I'm Erica. So me and Nazar are back trying to get back on track. Is he still talking to this Bree girl romantically? I don't know, they are co-workers. Rewatch it and sit on it. Yes, yes. Sometimes, like, oh my gosh, you guys, I have stories like, I've done pet readings for people, and it's interesting because I have a lot of pet grief. And so sometimes those people find me. And this one girl on Instagram, she was asking about her cat that went missing. And I explained, basically tarot tells you a story. And so I was telling her the story of what happened to her cat. And then she started twisting my words. She was like, oh my gosh, you mean my cat died? I was like, I did not say that. I did not say that. And then she was like not satisfied with the answer and she kept pushing. And I was like, you know what? I got better fucking things to do. So I didn't say it that way. You know, I try my best to be considerate of like what people are going through, but also at the same time, sometimes you got to learn what it's like on the other side. And so I was like, I think it would be best if you just came back to the reading and rewatched it when your anxiety isn't so bad. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You're welcome. You're welcome. But in like the most simplest terms, Annie Kit, or Annie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, 12421. Is it love? I think the spiritual lesson is for you to decide what sharing love looks like with another person. And Five of Swords energy, me and you both know, if you know anything about tarot, that winning at all costs is not love. Or at least not a love that you would want as a long-term partner. I do think you guys are in your lives for a reason. And I think in some way that your connection is helping him to get to the Emperor energy, because you have like father wounds that are very similar to each other. So maybe that would be like a healing conversation to have. You're welcome. Healing Heart 77. Is he still talking to this Bree girl? Let's see. Show me Nazar and Erica. Who is in this person's energy? Vanilla and Pie. Yes, give her the tea. Six of Cups, Page of Swords, Two of Wands, Death, High Priestess, Seven of Swords, yes. And if they're not actively communicating, one or the other is spying on each other, trying to get information. Show me the Seven of Swords. If you went looking, Healing Hearts, you might find it, so be careful what you wish for. Sagittarius energy. Oh no, I don't see you being happy about this person. You have options. This person has history. Apparently, I get like Six of Cups energy between you two. But also, he has like some self-sabotaging behaviors. I wouldn't say like it's romantic. Is there like some kind of attraction? Yes. I do see you guys like talking about it. I think talking about relationship boundaries would be beneficial, and it's coming up. I talked about this during another live stream, actually, that like the process of union with someone is also a spiritual lesson in itself. And that's why like a lot of people that date, they don't get to like fully a committed partnership or a marriage, or the marriage falls apart or whatever, because a lot of people don't know how to integrate their lives with each other. And it's not easy at all, because you're basically asking someone to kind of blend in with yours when every person has like their own individual family, friends, background, cultural differences, whatever, right? But it's a test. It's a test. She just always looking at me funny, so it's like, are y'all still wanting to entertain each other? Like what? Yeah, I do think he's at a crossroads. And it's mostly just like passion and attraction and him like not wanting to look at something. And so my heart goes out to you. I really hope that he works on it. Like, I don't see it being like a one and done. Like, I see like the relationship has a chance to either end or to rebirth into like a better cycle. And that cycle has to do with like relationship boundaries, protecting the union and stuff. Vanilla and pie. May I ask a yes or no? Yes, you may. I hope that helps, healing hearts. You're welcome. All right, Mystic ASY1I. Will I get a job at PwC? Let's see. Will they get a job at PwC? Two of Pentacles. That's a 50-50. The Moon. The Magician. Five of Pentacles. 5, 6, 7. No, but you will get contacts. You'll get a message. And it'll be... Okay, they might want a second interview. And so they're saying at the moment, it's 50-50. They're still weighing out their options. But what you don't know, since the Moon card is here, is that your emotions, your worries and concerns about money is heavily impacting your manifestations. So I would try to get a control on that. And really narrow down what you're trying to manifest, because you might be manifesting from a lack space. I believe not too long ago, I posted a channeled message called, I think it was something like abundance is the frequency or something like that. Go check it out and that will kind of help you work through that. Yeah, you're welcome. And trust me, I've been in here before where I was like looking for jobs and I was like applying to a bunch of jobs, none of which were even aligned with what I truly wanted. But the pressure from like parents, your friends that are telling you what to do and whatever, I would get rid of that noise and even what society says. And like, for example, I talk about this a lot that I learned with like my business mentors and even spiritual teachers about getting clear on your why. For me, my why is to create balance in my life, be more healthy, and time with my kids. And a lot of the jobs I was applying for did not technically bring me any of that. They were basically siphoning my energy, but the money looked right? And so when I got rid of that idea, I ended up in positions and jobs that were actually more aligned and serving me, and I could like bring my kid to work, and there were all these perks and benefits, even if like, you know, the salary rate wasn't what I was shooting for. I felt like my, you know, you can never get back time. And time is way more valuable than a number, money, right? Hello, Patrick Olinger. Who is the next one? Sasha Sullivan. Hey, welcome in. I think I've seen your username before. Have you been in the chat before? You're welcome, Mystic. Show me Sasha Sullivan. Well, things evolved with me and Kevin. Vanilla and Pie and New Love 1967. I'll get to you. You might have to pop in your question again depending how the chat goes. Please don't make me scroll. It's too much. I do have a couple moderators, Brandon and Polly. Brandon, I think, pops in the most. Polly was one of my first moderators and my first tarot coaching client for about a year. And so you'll see them occasionally in the chat moderating, but I am looking for more moderators. So if I see you consistently here, I might make you a moderator. Show me Sasha Sullivan. Will things evolve between her and Kevin? The Magician, Ace of Wands. The Chariot, yes. It will require some things to be let go. You might even have a break. Like things might slow down a bit. Yeah, it looks almost like a slow burn development if you want it. If you want it. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, a conversation coming up. The bond is undeniable. Let me just say that. With the Chariot card, a lot of people don't talk about this, but it can really go in either direction, depending how you manifest it. It's almost like this person is a mirror to you. Show me Vanilla and Pie. Will D and I come together in love with working things out in due time? Will D and I come together in love? Show me Vanilla and Pie. Justice, 5 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Knight of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. You're welcome. The Star. Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. It is very possible, but there's healing that needs to happen on the King of Wands part. I see you working more on like your money, your business, and your stability. And that's where I would actually put my focus towards energy and intention. This person needs to come to the realization of their own desires and what makes them happy. Like it's giving me like almost like avoidance. You know how like avoidant attachment is. Let them come to their own realizations. Definitely am for me. I feel that, yeah. And that's like with getting honest with yourself that, you know, some people that have avoidance tendencies tend to also attract people that have that issue as well. It might morph and manifest different. That took me so many years to accept that about myself. New Love, 1967. Hello, I am in right path now with how I handle things from day to day. Yeah, I express, I don't avoid. I get it. Thank you. Let me leave you with this. Gosh, I can't think of it, but there were so many memes when I was like researching avoidant attachment styles. And I realized like when I deal with people that are super avoidant, that aren't good at communicating their feelings, I tend to get like a dysregulated nervous system. And people pleasing is actually a form of avoidance. because you're like trying to like comfort yourself through another person, which we know we're not supposed to do, right? No chasing, attract. I'm trying to understand your question, new love. Is the question if you're on the right path? Show me new love 1967. Are they on the right path? What do they need to know? The World's King of Cups, Ace of Wands, Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Okay, interesting. Page of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Ten of Wands, Ten of Cups, Five of Wands, Three of Wands. I know we're doing yes or no, but if I feel called to go deeper into the message, I will, and that's what's going on here. So I talk about this a lot with my coaching members and kind of help them through it because it's not easy at all. The things that you consume orally is something that you might want to focus on at this time because it's impacting your manifestations. Are you on the right path? Yes, because I think you're realizing some of this. So, you know, the food that we eat, the prescriptions we ingest, all those kind of things, they alter your gut and it can impact your thoughts, which also impact your manifestations. And so there's some message here about you figuring out how you feel and speaking your truth. I bet you weren't expecting that one because I wasn't. Oracle 1125Y, like 8. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I interview at Visa Incorporated. Show me Oracle 112511. No, 25Y, sorry. Like 8, will I interview at Visa Incorporated? Show me. Will she get an interview with Visa Incorporated? Oracle 1125Y. I get the feeling of them shuffling through applications right now. Will she get an interview? Knight of Swords. Two of Pentacles. The Empress. Show me more on the Two of Pentacles. It looks like, I don't know if it's an interview. It might be an interview. It's almost like they come at you with more questions about your application. And so depending how you respond to that, and if you want to accept this position, which I think you might, there might be something unsatisfying or not fully, it almost like would give me overqualified or underqualified. And so there's questions concerning that. And so it comes out as like a pending decision depending on that conversation. Oh, sometimes there's assessments before. I think that's what it is. It's the assessment. You're welcome. Where are we at? Is that most of them? Okay. I'm getting hot now, so I think since we've been on for almost an hour, I gotta jump off. I'm telling you guys, lives take a lot of energy from me, and I can like feel it in my body. It's crazy. But thank you everyone for joining the live stream. If you're interested in participating in the free questions, keep your notifications on and subscribe because they're always at random. I very rarely have like scheduled lives. I think today I only did it for like 10 minutes, but besides that, we do all signs, we do channel messages, and we're also pushing out a new product that Miriam made that is astrology related. Go check out the community page if you're interested in that, and of course, you're welcome to look at my links if you're interested in purchasing an in-depth reading. But I hope you guys have a